Hey there, it's Dustin Guthrie with Schooner Bay Realty. You know, a couple of weeks ago I did a video kind of outlining and showcasing the northwest section of Cape Coral for those folks that maybe aren't familiar with the area. So I figured I'd go continue in that and do the southwest quadrant of Cape Coral. There's a lot of great areas down there in the southwest, some great parks, great communities down there, certainly a ton of waterfront property down there in the southwest portion of Cape Coral. So I think you'll get a lot out of the video if you're interested in Cape Coral at all. If you don't know me by now, my name is Dustin Guthrie. I'm a longtime resident of Southwest Florida and Cape Coral specifically, raising my family here right now, and I've been a real estate broker here full-time for almost 20 years now, and I do multiple videos like this every single week. I do listing tours and informational videos like this, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe to it. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. I try to provide as much value as I can to the folks that view this channel in the hopes that, you know, if a time comes where you are in need of a realtor here in Southwest Florida, either you're buying a property or maybe selling one here, maybe you'll think of me, you'll reach out. My contact information's down there in the description. Give me a call, shoot me a text, an email, whatever it takes, and I'll be happy to help you meet your goals down here in Southwest Florida. So with that being said, let's get right to it and take a look at the southwest section of Cape Coral.
So what are we talking about when we say the southwest quadrant of Cape Coral? Well, Cape Coral addresses are generally divided up into 4 sections or quadrants. An example address would be 3301 Southwest 4th Street or 4402 Southeast 15th Terrace. When folks are talking about the Southwest Cape, this is generally the area that we're talking about. It's basically the area south of Pine Island Road and west of Santa Barbara Boulevard, and I'll get into those roads here in a second. It's worth mentioning that there are addresses that have a Southwest prefix in a small section above Pine Island Road, and there's even a gated community on here that's technically carved outside of the city limits. But I don't want to overcomplicate things on this introductory video, and when you're talking to someone from the area and they mention the southwest area of Cape Coral, this shaded area is pretty much what we're talking about. Within the southwest section of Cape Coral, there are essentially 3 main roads that run east to west. We have Pine Island Road on the northern end, and that road runs all the way out to US 41 and I-75 and even beyond. In the center of the Southwest Cape is Veterans Parkway. Veterans actually curves up on the west side of the city and intersects with Pine Island Road. Veterans also goes across the Midpoint Bridge in the east all the way into Fort Myers, US 41, and I-75, and even runs past the interstate all the way to Lehigh Acres, Florida. The southernmost east-west artery in the Southwest Cape is Cape Coral Parkway. It too runs across the Cape Coral Bridge into Fort Myers and goes all the way to US 41. There are also 3 main roads that run north and south in the area. On the western side we have Chiquita Boulevard. To the east is Skyline Boulevard. And finally, there's Santa Barbara Boulevard. The vast majority of the commercial centers of the southwest section of Cape Coral are along these 6 roads. So if you're heading out to eat, going to the grocery store or the hardware store, etc., your destination is more than likely going to be located right on one of these main 6 roads. So I know a lot of the people that watch my channel are interested in Cape Coral for the waterfront property we have here, and the southwest section of Cape Coral easily has the most waterfront property in the city, with both Gulf access canals and freshwater canal systems. So I'm going to do what I did in my video on the Northwest Cape and show you where the different canal systems are. First, here is the area that only has freshwater properties. So if you're seeing a home on a canal or a small lake in this area, just know that it's on a landlocked system, meaning you won't be able to get out to open water by boat. There are still miles of canals to enjoy by kayak or pontoon boat or something, so there's still a lot to love about being on a freshwater canal. But for those only interested in Gulf access saltwater canal properties, this is the area that you want to focus on here. If you're seeing a home in this area and it's on a canal, that canal has access to the Gulf of Mexico, and it'll empty out to open water on the south side of the city. Now, it's important to note that some of these canals have an extraordinarily long trip out to open water. In some of the northernmost areas of this shaded zone, it might take you up to a couple hours of idling through the canal systems before you can get down to those southernmost exit points. So if you're shopping Gulf access homes for sale in the Southwest Cape, make sure you're paying attention to where it is on the canal system, because Like I said, sometimes those trips are pretty long. There are also a couple of really top-notch marinas in the Southwest Cape. If you take Chiquita Boulevard all the way south to the end of the road, you'll come to Cape Harbor. Cape Harbor deserves its own video, and I'll be sure to do one on it soon, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel. But the short version is that it's a really cool town center and a marina, and it consists of small boutique shops, waterfront bars and restaurants, and residential properties, all centered around this really great marina, which has both wet and dry slips for boats. If you want to learn more about it, go to capeharbor.net. I love this place so much that my business partner and I built a website just for this place, so it's worth checking out that website. There's another marina just to the east of Cape Harbor called Tarpon Point, and it too is a top-notch area of boutique shops and waterfront restaurants and bars, all of which surround the marina there. It's also where the big Westin Marina Village Resort is located, and that's a really great place to stay if you're coming to the Southwest Cape to visit for a few days to check the area out. So once again, I'm going to brag about the Cape Coral Parks and Nature Preserves. The Southwest Cape is absolutely filled with them, and you can see a proper list of them on the Cape Coral Parks and Rec website. I'll put a link to that in the description of this video for you. There are certainly the parks that have playgrounds and tennis and basketball courts, things like that, but there are also public sports facilities like the Storms Football Complex, as well as several different nature preserves with hiking trails for everyone to enjoy, some of which are on the water. So this was sort of a happy accident, but I'm out here at Joe Coviello Park, and I didn't realize it, but they literally just opened this park just this morning. They had the ribbon cutting ceremony at like 10 o'clock this morning. I'm out here in the afternoon. There's nobody out here, but I'd never been out here before. This is a really neat park here in the Southwest. It's just by Ida Baker High School, right off of Agua Linda. It's a great big nature preserve. It's got a ton of these shell-covered pathways to walk, and it's just really nice out here. I just walked by a bald eagle's nest, and it's right here in the middle of the Southwest Cape, and this is just one of the many parks we've got here. I think I'll come out here more often. This is pretty cool. All right, let's talk about numbers. So if you're looking in the Southwest section of Cape Coral and you're interested in the area, what can you expect to pay in terms of home prices right now? Well, I looked at the data over the last 60 days. And if you're looking for a golf access home in the Southwest section of Cape Coral, the average price right now is $830,000. Now, that generally means there are properties priced in the 600s, and there are properties priced in excess of $1 million. And there's even some of the higher end areas like Cape Harbor that we talked about, where some of the bigger luxurious properties in there are selling in excess of $3 million. But by and large, the average is about $830,000. That's what you can expect to pay for a decent house with decent finishes in a pretty decent location in terms of the golf access. You can certainly find some lesser priced properties that are maybe a little bit farther out that might take you an hour and a half to get out to open water. But the average is about $830,000. Now we're talking off-water properties like this pool home I'm in right now. This property, I came over here because I thought it was a good indication of where the market's at for this, and it's listed at $475,000. It's an average size home. It's about 1,800 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's not terribly old. I think it was built in 2005. It's pretty much move-in ready, but maybe could use a few upgrades in it. And that high 400s is a pretty good marker for where pool homes off water are right now in the Southwest Cape. If you're looking for something without a pool, you can probably expect to pay somewhere in the mid 300s depending on the size and the age of the home. But there are move-in ready homes, a little bit on the smaller side and maybe a little bit older, that are available for sale right now in the mid to upper 200s. So there's a lot of variance there in the prices right now in the Southwest, and I'm sure that whatever your appetite is for these properties, you can find the right price that meets your needs. So, there's just so much more information to the Southwest section of Cape Coral than I was able to get to in this video, but I do hope you got at least a little bit of information and an overview of the area, and maybe you have a better idea of that area than you did before you watched this video. So if you got anything out of this video, please go ahead and hit the like button, and remember to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. My contact information is down there in the description. If I can help you with anything, please just reach out. And I appreciate you watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one real soon.